Hi, this is Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl, and today we're going to do something a little different. I've had a lot of questions about my business and about me in general, so I figured we'd kind of do a little story time about how I got into business and then some of the random facts about me. So, to start off, we started Cuttin Corners in June of last year. So we've almost had this business open a year. We also own, in our small little town, our town in Nederland only has 17,000 people or so. We also own GoSign and Texas Tees. Back about 15 years ago, my mother and father-in-law started GoSign and Graphics. 12 years or so ago, I had been in the car industry doing car sales, which if any of you have been in that type of industry, there are a lot of long hours. You have to be there for the sale to count towards yourself. Whenever it's commission based, you work a lot. So they were like, well, why don't you come work for us? Because I had two small children at that time. Nadia, my daughter's 16 now, and Caden, my middle one, is fixing to be 15. They grow so quick. Anyways, so that was 12 years ago, and that's when we first started doing cut vinyl for t-shirts. My first cutter was a Roland GX24 plotter, and my first Hottronics was still a 16 by 20, but it was definitely a much more basic edition of the heat press. With that one, it still runs, and my heat press comes on the moment I get to work and doesn't go off till the moment I leave. Only thing I've had to change on it is the thermostat, so I highly recommend, if you can afford to purchase a Hottronics, they are the way to go, but they're extremely expensive. So about 5 years ago, when my baby Cameron, he's 10 now, was in pre-K, we had the opportunity to buy out Texas Tees, which was a screen print company. So my husband and I went into business with my mother and father-in-law, and that's been chugging along. And at the other store, we kept getting phone calls. Can we buy vinyl? Can we buy a vinyl? So I was like, why not just start another store? Which is what you see now. That way, because what we carried, what's in stock over at that other store is what we need for big signs or bulk orders of t-shirts. It's not something where you can have all the specialties because you got to store all of it. Here, I can have the fun colors and the fun shirts and all that kind of stuff, which are the things that I like to do myself personally. I really love making individualized personal items. I got bored doing major bulk orders. So we started this, and it was going great, but I had a lot of customers ask me about doing videos and showing them how I did things. So that's when we started doing our tutorials, which has kind of exploded. I'm surprised and grateful and thankful to every single one of you who watches me, because I honestly didn't think anybody would care what I had to say. I figured my regulars would watch and then we'd be done with it. And it's kind of taken on a life of its own. So that's how all of this started. So that's how Cuttin Corners came to be, and that's my baby, and I'm here all the time. If you call the office, you're most likely to talk to me. If you send a Facebook message or an email, you will be talking to me, because we are a small base business. 10 random facts. Number 10 is we are very small. Our town is 17,000 people. Between my two businesses at Cuttin Corners, we have myself and Libby, who is holding the camera right now. She's pretty great. She helps me cut down the vinyl and helps customers whenever I'm answering messages and all that fun kind of stuff. And then Cameron, my youngest, if you've been in my store, and sometimes I send them out too, there's rings on each one of the rolls of vinyl that have our logo. That little one gets paid a penny for each ring he rolls. So it's a good way for him to learn and save to be able to afford the things he likes to get. At my other store, at our screen print shop, there's my mother-in-law Mary, my father-in-law Joe, my brother-in-law Jeff, We have an artist named Brandy. We have Dixie, who helps do screen print. And then my other two work over there. Caden, who is fixing to be 15. He will take out trash and pull tape off screens. And Nadia, who will be 17 in August, she takes and washes screens. She can screen print with the best of them, but she's been doing it a long time. So we are very small. We are very family oriented. Another thing you may not know, but you will now, I am absolutely obsessed with Disney. Disney is like my favorite thing in the entire world. Disney is my favorite vacation location. If I could afford to move to Disney and live in the Golden Oaks, I gladly would. But those houses start off at like $10 million, and I can't even fathom what a house note on that would look like, let alone the homeowners association, because I'm serious about this. I checked into it. The homeowners association fees out there are like $100,000 a year. I love Disney, but I don't think I could spend, I mean, that's just wow kind of money. I mean, that's outrageous. But I go as often as I can. My kids love it. Nadia graduates next year. That's where she wants to go for her senior trip. I mean, we are a very Disney-oriented family, and I love the Disney bubble because when you go, you're in that world. You don't see the bad stuff that's going on. You get to be cut off. So that's my favorite. Let's see. Number 3 would probably be my makeup obsession. If you look, I'm getting better slowly but surely. I practice with it all the time. But if you went to my house, I have a makeup collection that would rival any of the beauty gurus that you see on YouTube. Tati and Laura Lee are my absolute 2 favorites. I watch them all the time. But I have a ton of it. Now, I don't wear all of it. Like, I have an obsession with eyeshadow palettes. Anything that sparkles, the better. But I don't always get a chance to wear it. But that is another thing that I absolutely am obsessed with. Let's see. Number 5, I've got kids, 3 kids. Caden, who is fixing to be 15, he's got Asperger's. So I support all types of autism awareness. Honestly, whenever he was little, he was always a wonderful, wonderful baby. Like, he wouldn't get into anything. He was just the sweetest, most loving kid. And I would go to like the Walmart or wherever, and I would see kids throwing a fit. And this was probably, and I would be like, well, they need to get that kid under control. Well, once Caden was diagnosed, which he wasn't diagnosed until he was in 3rd grade, because that's whenever Asperger's is typically diagnosed, whenever they start to develop socially. That's whenever we started to notice that, hey, Cameron, who's his little brother's 5 years younger, could remember the kids in Caden's class's names. Caden didn't go to sleepovers. Caden didn't remember who he's been in school with, and he's gone to school with these kids since he was in kindergarten. And from dealing with people in the autism world and things like that, I found a new respect. I started to understand that just because a kid looks normal doesn't mean that they function the same way. And it's not that they're any less intelligent. It's just certain things. It's a sensory overload. Like, Caden doesn't like, if we go to a restaurant and they have vinyl seats, that sound, if you rub your hands across them, drives him absolutely batty. Nadia, my oldest, which will be 17 in August, she is not mine by birth, but that is my baby. I was there the day she was born. No, it doesn't mean that blood makes you a parent. That is my child. I love her to death, and she'll tell you the same thing. I've gone to everything, been there with her since day one, and she is my angel, my only girl. And let's not forget about little bit my 10-year-old. He just turned 10 yesterday, so go ahead and wish Cameron a happy birthday. He's my wild child. He is all boy. He is the one that's going to end up bruised, battered, look like he has gone through a little bit of everything. He is mama's boy through and through. He has the gentlest heart, the sweetest child. but he's rambunctious. Let's see. We also have lots of pets. Number 6. So we have 3 dogs and 2 cats. All of them rescues. We have 2 dachshunds. Bella, which we've had for 9 years, but she's about 14 years old. She's missing most of the hair on her tail. She was kept in a kennel, in a tiny little kennel, and she's a standard size short-haired dachshund. And because she spent so much time of it, she'd sit there and rub her tail up against the edge of the kennel, so she's missing all of her hair and it will never grow back. Then we also have Stevie. She's my long-haired dachshund. She was found on the side of the road in Woodville. She is the laziest dog you will ever meet. Like, before we got our last dog, she was so lazy. She would not get out of bed to eat. We literally had to bring her bowl into bed for her to lay down and eat her food. But once we got Layla, which is our Chiweenie mix, which I'm not really sure if there's any weenie in her. She was found at a house. We got her when she was a puppy. She's hyper as all get out, and she's got like this crooked jaw, and she's just so ugly. She's cute. And she's in your face all the time. So, and then we have 2 cats. We have Allie, which my daughter brought home. She's very much a rambunctious, normal cat. And then Sophie Cameron brought home one day from school. Let's see. So, let's see. Now, number 7, pink is my favorite color. I love it so much. I have a pink, the 2017 pink Beetlebug that they came out with. I have the pink edition convertible because whenever me and my husband were teenagers, I'd always say I wanted a pink convertible. So whenever we had the opportunity to purchase one, he was like, go ahead and get it. So now I have a pink convertible. For movies, horror movies are my absolute favorite. I know I don't look like that type, but anything scary, I absolutely love it. Watch them all the time. I don't know why. I like the gore, but I don't want it in real life. Let's see. Number 9, I am an avid reader. I read a lot of books. I will take, and it doesn't take me long to read. I can read a 400-page book in about 2 hours or so. So that's another thing. And I have, last random fact, I buy most of my shoes in the kids department. I have very little feet, a size 4 in kids. So if I can buy the exact same thing in the kids department for a lot less money, I'm going to, because I'm cheap when it comes to that kind of thing. So there's some random facts and random info about me. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and like this video. Remember, today is the last day to enter this month's scrapbox drawing. All your purchases through midnight count towards extra entries in the scrapbox drawing. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and thanks, and y'all have a great day.